So I love to bring new brands to the channel. Today I have a really cool brand to show you guys. It is called Horon, H-O-R-O-N, and this is the Ocean Hunter. So it has a pretty cool name. It's a 300-meter dive watch with a Swiss automatic movement. Actually has micro adjust, so a lot of the things that I like. It's also pretty affordable. I'm going to get right into it. It comes in an outer cardboard box. Inner box is a lacquered wood box. Just says Horon right on the box. There's a metal enclosure. Opening it up, inside, of course, you're getting a watch, and then you get a warranty card. Warranty card is in a metal, sort of a bronze metal there, which is pretty cool. Now, this is their loudest colorway. I sort of asked for this one because I thought it was interesting, but they make some more toned down colorways, and they also make a Meteorite Dial. Now, they're not making these yet. Obviously, this is a prototype because they are still in the Kickstarter phase, and we'll get back to that in just a little while and talk about pricing. Now, there's two different dials. So there's a Meteorite Dial, and then there are the rest. So this is one of the rest of the dials that they're making. It's sort of a double guilloche pattern dial. And if we look closer at the dial, you see there's sort of a few different layers. You have a chapter ring that's bicolored that sort of matches the bezel. And then there is a blue ring that goes around the dial. There's sort of a bottom dial portion, which is in that orange yellowish color. And then there's a ring that's in blue that sits on top of that. That's where the indices are. Those are applied. You have beaver teeth right there at the 12 o'clock. Below that is the logo for the brand, which is applied to the dial itself. At the 6 o'clock, we have a date. That is a color match date to the actual ring, so that blue color, which looks really nice. You have different color loom on the actual indices versus the bezel. So the bezel is loom. We will do a loom shot at the end. You also get a loomed crown, very large, substantial, grippy crown on here as well. This does get a Swiss movement. As I mentioned, it actually gets a Sellita SW200. And you can see it from the back, and it is signed and decorated. The rotor is signed and decorated, and it looks really, really good on here. I'll do close-ups of it so you can see. I mentioned it gets micro adjust. It actually gets a clasp that has built-in micro adjust, as you could see. It is basically a diver's extension, very similar to some other watches that I've had on the channel. However, this is actually finished nicely. There is no sharp edges. I've had watches on the channel with clasps like this that were a lot sharper, and this is not sharp at all. It's also somewhat low profile for the ones that I've actually seen on the channel. Again, very similar to my Mito, which is a low profile version of this. You do get polishing on here, and it is signed with the brand's logo, and then brushing. So very nice and a very useful buckle. More useful since it's not sharp. So you could actually use this if you need to adjust a few millimeters. It's actually useful. You get a flat link bracelet on here, and it does have a chamfered edge along the entirety of the bracelet. I love flat link bracelets. It actually goes really well with this case, and you have a chamfered edge on the case that goes along the bottom and the top. And then you have sort of a scalloped bezel, sort of like an Omega a little bit, but the scallops aren't that big, so they're a little bit smaller. The bezel action on here is actually pretty good. It's a little on the tight side, I would say. My hands are pretty dry, and I have a little bit of a problem gripping bezels that are tight, but I'm able to do it if I hold it from the side. I'm able to do it. Everything lines up really nicely, so that beaver teeth right there. There's just a little bit of play in the bezel, nothing that you would notice. And works really well. You do have quick release on the bracelet as well. I just wanted to mention that before we move on. Screwed in case back, screwed in crown. The crown, as I mentioned, is signed, and it is also loomed. And you can see the movement from the back, and you do get 300 meters of water resistance. You have a double domed sapphire crystal on here with AR coating. And you can see it actually does a pretty good job in my studio, which usually is a very good challenge for AR coating because my studio is not really well lit. So a lot of times you will see the objects in my studio in the actual glass, and you can't today. So that's pretty good. Really nice watch. Let me do some measurements because I know that this, I believe, is a 42 millimeter watch. Yep, 42 millimeters, 42.2. 42.1, so that's basically where it is. You do get male end links on here. So without the male end links, you have pretty long lugs on here as well. So 48.8, they're sort of cut off at the edge. But with the male end links, you're about 56.2. Now, I'm not sure if they're staying with the male end links, but on a strap, this will wear like a watch that has a 49 millimeter lug width. On the bracelet, it is a 56.4. Now, on my 7.5 inch wrist, that will not make a difference. The crown is actually very large, 6.8 millimeters, but it's not the actual size of the crown. It's also the length. It's really very nicely proportioned crown. And the thickness on here, 300 meters of water resistance with the double dome sapphire crystal, and the fact that you can see it from the back, 14 millimeters. All in all, really not that bad. There's a pretty decent taper on the bracelet. I like a taper on my bracelets, as you guys know, and I think they did a good job with this. All in all, I really think this is an attractive watch. Now, you may not be into the actual colorway that we're looking at, but like I said, they make a few different versions. Now, the Meteorite Dial doesn't get that extra portion of the dial. It actually just gets Meteorite, and there is no extra ring that has the indices on it. The indices are applied directly to the Meteorite. All the rest get the same treatment with the double guilloche, which I think looks really, really attractive. I really like what they've done here. It looks really good. I'm going to throw it on my wrist and we'll talk about price. Now, price on here, there are a few different prices that they're going with. So there's a super early bird special, and I like when brands do this because you get a really good deal. It is $549 with a Sellita SW200. Obviously, the way you see it with this really robust, very nice bracelet, see-through case back, 300 meters of water resistance. I think that's a really good deal. This is ceramic bezel, by the way, ceramic bezel insert, and the Loom crown. And then it goes up, but doesn't go up a lot. After the initial release, there is an early bird special, and it only goes up just a few dollars, like 20 bucks. It goes up to $569. So if you miss the super early bird special, I wouldn't hesitate at the early bird special. You're not really losing out because it's only a $20 difference. So no problems there. And then the MSRP goes up to around $800, so $799. So if you are interested in this, I definitely would jump on early because this is a cool watch. And it's just really nicely made and very good looking. Now, again, I like this colorway. I think it's really loud. It's really weird. But I'll be throwing up pictures of the other colorways throughout so you guys can see what I'm talking about. They have more subdued versions that are more of a normal colorway rather than something that's a little bit more brash and loud like this. So pricing, very good. Let me throw it on my wrist and then we will do a quick Loom shot. Today I am wearing a watch that is not priced as well as this watch. It is the Parmigiani Tanda GT. And this was actually just sent by Parmigiani to the channel for review, and I've been wearing it ever since. This is really cool. Integrated bracelet watch with a voucher movement. Obviously, voucher are Parmigiani, so they are all one. And there you go, and gold rotor on there. Just beautiful watch. Now, this is around $22,000, so it's a very expensive watch. But let me throw this watch on. It has not been sized for my wrist, but you can see the lug to lug is actually pretty big on here. So 56 millimeters is pretty big. It doesn't bother my 7.5 inch wrist, but if you have a smaller wrist than me, this might be an issue. If you go down to below a 7 millimeter wrist, I would suggest wearing this on a strap. It might be a little too big for someone with a smaller wrist. You could see it doesn't hang over my wrist, but like I said, if you have a small wrist, this might be a problem. 6.5 inches, somewhere around there, this would be a problem. So anyway, pricing, as I mentioned, super early bird special, $549, and then it goes up $20 for the early bird special, and then $799 for the normal pricing. This is a cool colorway. But very quickly, let's do a Loom shot. They also did bi-colored Loom on here, which looks good. I've already checked out the Loom, in full disclosure, and it's pretty good. So you can see they went to town with the loom on here. Bezel, loomed. The track here, the 15-minute track here, is also loomed. The chapter ring is loomed. The indices are loomed. The hands are loomed. Even the pip on the little second hand there running along is loomed. You have a loom pip here as well. And then, of course, you have the crown. The logo on the crown is also loomed. So a lot of loom here. You can see that I think it's BGW9. However, it's sort of a minty green, and then you have a minty blue on the bezel. Looks really good, and I think the bezel and the hands match, which is a nice touch. So everything here is very loomed and loomed very nicely, very liberally applied, very bright. I'm impressed with the loom on here, which is very, very good. Anyway, everything on this watch I really like. I think the only thing that might be a problem for some is the lug width with those male end links. I don't know if they're going to change these to female end links. I hope they are, because it would make it a problem for some people with smaller wrists. That would be my suggestion. Other than that, I think it's really cool. There's a little bit of an issue with the bezel right over here. I already spoke to them about that. It's just, this is a prototype, and there was some fitment issues with the actual bezel insert. That'll be corrected for the production version. And that's really it. Everything else I think is really nicely finished. The bracelet's really nicely finished. The buckle, the case, really top notch. And the movement, they put that rotor on here. Really nice rotor. I'm glad they just didn't slap the standard rotor on there. They actually filled it with like a blue color. It looks really cool. I think they did a good job. Overall, really good job. Hope they change these end links to a female end link so that more people could actually get this on their wrist. $549 going up to $569 for this early bird special. Not bad priced either. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think of this colorway? Am I crazy that I like it? Tell me in the comments below. I think you guys already know that I'm crazy, but tell me what you guys think. There are plenty of other colorways, as I mentioned. Oh, the pricing on the Meteorite, I think starts at $649, then it goes up to $669. And then from there, it goes up to like $8.99 in the full retail. So $649 for an extra $100, you get a Meteorite dial. I think that's really good as well. However, I said these dials with the double guilloche are no slouch. These are pretty cool. You can see, I've been talking for quite some time, and the loom is hanging on. I did not charge this for very long. Loom is very good. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel. I very much appreciate it. Hit that bell icon. It's the only way you will be alerted of when I release videos. And for some reason, YouTube will not let you know that I have released a video unless you have that bell icon clicked on and lit up, because otherwise you will never see my videos. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Anyway, thank you for logging on, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video.